We haven't even started yet. We should start.
We should start. And, we've got something a little bit different because usually we've been doing things during festivities. Now we're actually doing almost like pregame. A little before the festivities.
Yeah, this is a warm-up.
This is a warm-up to the rest of our drinking.
That's right.
To the rest of our...
I might not be around for... I probably won't be around the party for the grand finale when everyone is still here, but I'm getting in on the early portion of the show.
And that's good. And we have a beer for this portion on this Give It a Shot. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Keith, and we are AboutBeverages.com. And what are we about today?
We are about a beer from, one of our favorite things. Coworker of mine took a trip up to Oregon, was up there visiting some different breweries, Deschutes, several different ones in that area, and he was kind enough, he brought us several beers from Silver Moon Brewing Company, and they're out of Bend, Oregon. This is their High Plains Hefe.
That's also where Deschutes is, out of Bend as well.
That's correct. Yeah, so he was there as well. He brought us a special beer. I know, I was thinking, and actually I was talking with him when he brought these back, and I was talking with Gary, and it was just like, gosh, there's about like 3 or 4 places where if you went to those areas, you would hit, in my mind, the mecca of, microbreweries. If you're in, California, Southern California area, you go up into Oregon, hit Colorado.
Yeah, northern Colorado, Denver, Fort Collins area.
Yeah,
yep.
I mean, if you just go to, there's a lot of other places. Obviously, we don't get into a lot of east, beers back east because unfortunately they don't make it out here. So, but at least for my mind, those would be 3 places I would love to visit. Spend about a week in each place, just kind of doing some nice little tours. And actually, funny story. They in Oregon, they have a bicycle tour of breweries. It's this giant 10-seater bicycle. And you can just ride this thing around, and they do, they talk about the different breweries. They go in, You get personal tours and stuff like that. So that would be pretty amazing.
It's the most recent Imbibe magazine talks about, they've got an article on this new trend of beer and bicycling, how they go so well together. I remember years ago it was like the coffee and the bicycling were a big thing, and which still is, but now it's beer and biking.
I always envision that
rewarding yourself.
With Napa as well too.
Yeah, and there are wine tours on bike. Oh, absolutely.
I'd like to do that as well.
It'd be good to be independently wealthy and just have a year of just journeying all over and
finding yourself.
Then eventually getting to Europe and do it over there as well. So
yeah. Well, we've waxed poetic long enough, and while we were doing that, I've poured the beer.
You have?
Yeah, I have. And guess what? It's kind of cloudy, like a wheat beer is what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, it's a cloudy yellow gold wheat beer.
That's all we have to say about that.
That is all we have to say. Actually, and when I went to Noble Hops with Eric last week.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that there was something that was on the menu, and I said, well, look it up. Check it on our website. And so we looked at it, and actually, too, I had the Bell's, the Two-Hearted Ale.
Wait a minute. So are you saying while you were out at some place, you actually used the drink database?
Well, Eric did on his iPhone because I didn't have, I couldn't. Yeah, I had him use that because I was like, well, let's see what we thought about that.
Very cool. What was it? Do you remember what it was?
It may have been the...
Was it the Two-Hearted? You were just
It may have been the Two-Hearted Ale because I remember I kind of liked it, and you didn't like. I don't think you did like it, and
right.
I thought, well, I'll see what it tastes like on draft, and it was okay because everything else was. I didn't want to, because I was driving. I didn't want to over alcohol myself, so I was looking for something that wasn't so potently packed.
Yeah,
and so that was a little bit lower on the scale, but it was. I'm glad I tried it. It wasn't necessarily.
That's kind of the thing because that's obviously not what I'm directly looking for, but the things that seem to intrigue me always wind up being like 8, 9, 10, 11% alcohol. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that seems to be probably the byproduct of that creativity. It's good if you get one of those and then a bunch of people try that, because then you can try more things, but it does limit a little bit.
I don't know if it was maybe it was the gin. Did I have him look up the gin? No, I can't remember. It was something I had him check out, but yeah, we did that. It was cool. I
like the aroma I'm getting off of this.
That is reminds me of like a German style Hefeweizen. It's got that sort of not quite as spicy, clovey, banana-y, but it's along those lines, but a little milder, which is good.
Little Kolschy grapey coming through in there, that kind of that muscat, that kind of sweet grape coming through. But I'm also getting a little bit of the nice lemon citrus aroma coming through, lemon or orange, that kind of citrus, but it blends together really nicely, and not too much of those spices, just the right amount, which is sometimes the downfall for me. I like Hefeweizen because it's lighter and more refreshing, but then sometimes they go too far with the clove and the coriander and all that kind of stuff. But this, at least aroma-wise, smells really good.
Yeah, no, I like that. I agree. It has all of those notes we talked about, but at least after the first sip so far, it's not hanging at the back too much. They're kind of there. They're sort of high though. They're like a high note sort of. Then they go up through the nose. Yeah,
it's very effervescent with its flavor.
It's more that banana-y estery, but not heavy. Just a good amount of spice. Like very very higher on the palate, and then they're gone, and it doesn't leave that heavy on your tongue. That's quite refreshing.
Yeah,
good choice to start here.
I would completely agree. Yeah, very refreshing. All those flavors we talked about coming through, even slightly more muted than I got in the aroma, which is fine, like I said, because that's what I'm looking for right now. It doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be an overabundance of flavors, but the flavors that are there are balanced well together. And yeah, it doesn't linger too long where you're like, oh, this is kind of little too much. It's just nice and refreshing. This is what I want out of a Hefeweizen. This is very good. I like this.
And where can we get this in Tucson?
Unfortunately, nowhere. So thankfully, all of the our other listeners up in Oregon and all of the northwestern states can enjoy this. Hopefully, I would think they must sell to other distributors, I would think. But unfortunately, I don't know where. We will have a link to their website at our website at AboutBeverages.com, and you can check it out. They've got many, many other beers that they do. We have a couple others that we may get to as well that Gary was kind enough to give us. So we thank him for that. Well, head on over to the website at AboutBeverages.com. Check out the tasting notes for this Hefeweizen, along with where it hits on our recommendation scale. And while you're there, definitely make sure you're following us on Twitter, become a fan of us on Facebook, and check out the drink database.
Also YouTube.
That's right. We are doing the YouTube quite a bit as well. I was behind by 1 week, but I caught us back up. So
nice.
That's fully there. So yeah, catch us there as well. But whether we like it or not,
you should give it a shot if you're in Oregon
or someplace that has